There are two Babylons, Rome and America is Mystery Babylon. He said this is wickedness, and he pushed her back into the basket and pushed the lead cover down over his mouth. Then I looked up, and there before me were two women. With the wind in their wings, they had wings like those of a stork, and they lifted up the basket between heaven and earth. Where are they taking the basket? I asked the angels who were speaking to me. He replied, to the country of Babylonia, to build a house for it. When it's ready, the basket will be set there in its place. So wickedness was carried to Babylonia. And here is the mind of which has wisdom. The seven heads are the seven mountains on which the woman sits. I will be adding a video to this one. This shows that the seven mountains are not only in Rome, but also in the District of Columbia in Washington, D.C. It's set up exactly like Rome because they are sister cities. And this is in today's headlines. Pray rosary for Our Lady's intercession in war slashing our world. The only one that is an intercessor and intercedes for us is Jehoshua, not Mary. Gematria, Vatican. Confirm the father of the serpent. Vatican, Synagogue of Satan. The bottom, that's the District of Columbia. Named after the goddess. Washington, D.C., London, and Rome. So the first colony that was set up in Babylonia was Virginia. Named after the goddess again. Virgin, Maryland. Adonai will send you back in ships to Egypt on a journey I said you should never make again. There you will offer yourself for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one will buy you. So it's safe to say that Babylonia sieged Jerusalem. And if America is Babylonia, that makes America Jerusalem. And who were the ones that fell under the curses and were made into slaves? And that includes the Northern Kingdom because we fell first. And during the Columbus Exchange, they took our people overseas and they were made into slaves too. Adonai Yah will rescue you from your captivity. He will have mercy on you and come and gather you out of all the nations where he has scattered you. Though you are at the ends of the earth, he will go and find you and bring you back again to the land of your ancestors. You shall possess the land again, and he will do you good and bless you even more than he did your ancestors. He will cleanse your hearts and the hearts of your children and of your children's children, so that you will love Adonai your Yah with all your heart and soul, and Israel shall come alive again. So America is the land that he gave his people, and it's going to be returning to his people after he purifies it. So if you will listen carefully to the voices of Adonai your Yah, and do what is right in his eyes, and pay attention to his commands, and keep all his statutes, then I will not bring on you any of the diseases I inflicted on the Egyptians, for I am Adonai who heals you. That's what's happening right now. So these are the plagues of Egypt, and they're happening right now because it repeats itself as he leads us out again for a second time, second Exodus. This is the true map of the United States. So you see where Egypt is? Well, that's the area that's being affected right now in the flood. Houston, that's Egypt. Above it, Oklahoma. And this is today's headline, by the way. And let me not forget the invasion of cicadas, the largest in centuries. And all this started after the eclipse on April 8th, because the circle means judgment. The judgment onto the enemies of Israel. It's been lifted off of Israel and placed onto the enemies. So China had a bridge collapse the other day, a landslide. Colombia also had a landslide the other day. Brazil's flood, the worst in history. In fact, there are floods everywhere since April 8th. Make sure you keep the covenant so you can be under his protection. And in England, May 1st, 2024. Also in Asia, there's a record-breaking heat wave right now. The beginning of the birth pains. In the time of destruction, they will pour out their force, and they will appease the wrath of him who made them. Fire, hail, famine, and death, all these were created for vengeance. The teeth of the beast, scorpions, serpents, and the sword that punishes the ungodly with destruction. In his commandments they will rejoice, and they will be ready upon earth. And when the time has come, they will not transgress his word. Though I have scattered them like seeds among the nations, still they remember me and return again to Yah. With all their children they will come home again to Israel. I will bring them back from Egypt and Assyria and resettle them in Israel and Gilead and Lebanon. There will scarcely be room for all of them. They should pass through safely to the sea of distress. From the ways will be held back. The Nile will become dry. The rule of Syria and Egypt over my people will end. So the Nile is actually the Mississippi River. And this is the flooded area that's happening right now in Texas. In other words, Egypt. For those that don't know, the Mississippi River is drying up. Just like the scripture said it would, so that we could cross. That's where the water used to be, people walking on it. Now it's for the Mississippi River, named after Isis. Mississippi, Gematria. The beast is rising. God's bride completes book. Hezekiah, one of our prophets. Eric and Elon are Enki and Enlil. Now, I don't know who Eric is, but I sure know who Elon is. So there goes your Enki and your Enlil. I'm not too sure on the pronunciation, and I really don't care. So this is the Elon that I think they're referring to. And this is in today's headlines. This is from the pyramid. Angels are depicted with wings, but they're purely spiritual beings. They do not have a physical body. They can take on appearance of man to better communicate with humans. And it's interesting to me that his name is Elon Musk, and Elion means God Most High. I believe this is his costume for Halloween. And right in his center is Baphomet. The horses and riders I saw in my visions look like this. Their breastplates were fiery red. Scripture tells you that the serpent has a bloodline, the serpent seed. What people call reptilians, a reptilian is a snake. Satan's offspring will be fighting with Eve's offspring to the end of time. He goes by Dark Waters on YouTube.
Boy, somebody gonna get in trouble for this, because they done figured out where they hide the human skin suits. I want to be clear with the reptilians and the lizard people. I do not know the location where you hide your secret human skin suits, and quite frankly, I'm a tad bit upset that none of these skin suits are black. You are racist, lizard people. I want you to know this. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, be mindful that whoever you may be talking to right now, the woman in the bed or the man in the bed next to you right now, may be a lizard. The way you test is you pull on the skin inside of the elbow, or you grab upon the nape of the neck. If you grab them by the nape of the neck and pull, the suit will come off. Be careful, ladies and gentlemen. Be careful. This is the Snakonian ambassador. So y'all just gonna sit here and tell me that this girl neck is normal? That what's going on with this woman's neck is normal? That's how necks work, right? That's how everybody's neck is on this whole entire planet. That's how their necks work, right? Just like the other guy had trumpet neck, right? And the girl who had the thing going down, the hand go down her throat and her jaw detached and open wider. All that's just normal, right? All that's normal.
So back to the Gematria, Mississippi. Jesus is Satan. God bless the USA, Biblical Messiah, Spirit of Enoch. Another Gematria, Jesus equals Asus. And this is in the Vatican, Zeus, God of sky and weather, and his eagle. It tells you in the scripture, named Joshua will be born to the house of David. Reject Satan is in the name of Joshua. And this is actually the correct spelling, Jahushua and Jahua. So this is the Jesus they gave to the world. As you can clearly see, that is him coming out of the pit, shedding his skin, reptilian head on the side. Now you see why the church would be prosecuted, but not the bride. So now to Tammuz, Gematria. The northern kingdom had the women would bake cakes for Tammuz and cry when she lost her son, and we fell into captivity for worshiping her as well. She's just another name for Mary today, or the fertility goddess, Tammuz. Gematria, Vatican, Tammuz. And Joshua, bride, Jean. You see, because he is the bride. He's coming for the bride, not the church. Rome gave you the church. The name of blasphemy, you see, Tammuz, the so-called Queen of Heaven. This is when he's coming to gather his exiled people. In that coming day, says Adonai, she will call me my husband instead of my master. O Israel, I will cause you to forget your idols, and their names will not be spoken anymore. So I made a video on YouTube on the Heavens to Light too. You will want to be the side of the bride, not the church. And I break down the difference between the two. Because now it gets flipped around. Also recently, the Statue of Liberty, or ISIS, got struck by lightning. Statue of Liberty, ISIS. Gematria, Liberty. And I covered it before, that Obama will be coming back. He will be the last pharaoh in America. And there it goes again. I am Enlai, hate human race, beautiful angel. So when you see Obama in office, you know we're in the last days. But Israel is my special people, sealed as jewels within my treasury. Vengeance is mine, and I decree the punishment of all her enemies. Their doom is sealed. Adonai will see his people rightened, and I will have compassion on them when they slip. Adonai's vengeance will soon fall upon all the Gentile nations. As you have done to Israel, so will it be done to you. Your acts will boomerang upon your heads. You drank my cup of punishment upon my holy mountain, and the nations around about will drink it. Too, yes, drink and stagger back and disappear from history, no longer nations anymore. But Jerusalem will become a refuge, a way of escape. Israel will reoccupy her land. Israel will be a fire that sets the dry fields of Edom aflame. There will be no survivors, for Adonai has spoken. So our lands come back to us. None of this was here in our lands prior. They will be here till the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, and the time is now. People need to start getting it right. Water will gush forth in the wilderness, in streams in the desert. The burning sands will become a pool, the thirsty ground bubbling springs. In the haunts where the jackal once lay, grass and reeds and papyrus will grow, and a highway will be there, and it will call the way of holiness. So I explained in past teachings that this is our area where the four corners are. Israel, Jerusalem, that's that section right there. And also over there in that section is Death Valley, where there's a lake today. You see there? There's people kayaking there today. And flowers, yes, and Death Valley.
Play of the day. I've been so excited for this. Death Valley is in bloom with fields of wildflowers. Zareen Shaw is there. Is there a flower of our own bringing a little joy this morning? Good morning to you, Zareen.
Hey, good morning, Janae. The hills are alive out here. This is gold in California like you have probably never seen it. I mean, there are so many flowers everywhere. And let me tell you, when you are driving up here, it feels like you're on another planet. It is just so barren. And then all of a sudden you see the sign that says, "Welcome to Death Valley." And seconds later, actually, a valley full of life. This morning, the blooms are back. Gorgeous fields of wildflowers taking over California. Bright yellow daisies even popping up in Death Valley, the driest and hottest place in America.
Our visitor center, which normally sees on a busy weekend 2,000 plus people a day, we were seeing well over 3,000 people a day.
The West Coast storms earlier this year leading to more than double the average rainfall in the area, turning the normally dry and empty Badwater Basin into a river that tourists kayak through.
Water has been key to Death Valley just having this unusual and amazing year.
Those major showers now bringing April flowers. Death Valley is known for its rocks, sand, and now the super bloom-like phenomenon that goes for miles. A lot of rain has caused this extended bloom, and a lot of people here say they've never seen before. The last significant one happened in 2016, but Park Ranger Nicole Andler says this one is more of an extended bloom because of the length of time that the flowers have been blossoming.
The flowers started to bloom in November and just haven't stopped. And normally that does not happen.
Tourists as far as the Netherlands coming to see the valley, now in awe. Did you expect to come to Death Valley and see so many flowers?
Was the last place I expected so many flowers.
And that is why so many people are making this the first spot that they want to come see. There is just so much magic in how these flowers are repainting this entire desert. And the smell is just so incredible. But beyond all that is just the wonder of how it makes you feel out here. I mean, look, this is one of the hottest, one of the driest places on the entire planet. It literally has the word death in its name. And so to see so much life in an unexpected place, it just brings you so much joy, and it gives you a little bit of hope for this world. Guys.
Wait, Zareen, what's it smell like? Can you describe it?
It smells like a little like lilac, like roses almost. I mean, it is overwhelming though. It's not just what it smells like, it's how much of it there is here. It's overwhelming.
I just had to ask. You said the smell. As long as Death Valley doesn't smell like
Jamaica,
death.
Why it's named the District of Columbia. Quote, Little Rome by the Jesuits of Vatican origin. Jesuit John Carroll was probably the richest man in America in the late 1700s. Carroll allowed funding to construct D.C., which is nicknamed, quote, Rome on the Potomac, end quote. In fact, Wikipedia and the Catholic Encyclopedia confirm Washington, D.C.'s original name as Rome, Maryland. A branch of the Potomac River was called Tiber, after a river in Rome. Owner of the land used to be Francis Pope. Get it? Pope Francis. And his priest was Jesuit Andrew White. Like Rome, Washington, D.C. has 7 hills, whose names are Capitol Hill, Meridian Hill, Floral Hills, Forest Hills, Hillbrook, Hillcrest, and Knox Hill. Daniel Carroll owned land in D.C., along with Roman Catholic Pierre Lafont, who was part of the creation of Washington, D.C., the architect of Washington, D.C.,